So do you also regularly conduct webinars and use GoToWebinar for the same? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to create GoToWebinar Registrant on Zoho Forms submission. So with here I'm running a edutech company and we regularly conduct webinars for the same. And we use Zoho Forms to collect the registrations of these webinars. So now what I want is that as soon as someone registers for the webinar with the help of Zoho Forms, automatically a new registrant should be added into my GoToWebinar account too. That too without any manual efforts. So to do this, we are simply going to create a connection between Zoho Forms and GoToWebinar. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So do you also want to create this automation? Then for that you have to come with me towards my screen.
Welcome to my screen. So in this video, I'll show you how to automatically register participants for GoToWebinar session whenever a form submission is received in Zoho Forms. This automation ensures that every registrant is instantly added, saving you time and eliminating the manual efforts. So follow along as I walk you through the setup step by step. So let's get started with a really simple example. Let's say that my name is test user and I'm just going to register for the webinar session with the help of Zoho Forms. Alright, so as you can see that I've entered all of my details and now I'm just going to click on this submit. And yes, you can see that I've successfully submitted this form, and now I'm just going to open my GoToWebinar account and we're going to refresh this registrant section. So I'm just going to refresh this page in order to check that if a new registrant has been created in my GoToWebinar account automatically without any manual efforts or not. Alright, so I'm just going to refresh this event details and we're going to go towards the registration section and then towards the total registrants. And yes, over here you can see a new registrant has been added. You can see the same name and the same email address which we entered. So yes, you can see that in real time within seconds a new registrant has been added into my GoToWebinar account in that particular webinar without any manual efforts. So yes, this is the automation we are going to create in today's video. And if you also want to create this automation, then for that you have to watch this video till the end. So to do this, I've simply opened the landing page of Pabbly by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy, and as soon as we're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we are going to get two options. One is sign in and the other one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on this sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of tasks free every month to explore the application. But over here, I'm an existing user, so I'm just going to click on this sign in, and as soon as we are going to click on this sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications. So I'm just going to click on this access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect account. And as soon as we are going to click on this access now right over here, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we simply have to click on this blue button which says create workflow. And now it is asking me for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here I want to save the workflow in this folder which is automations, and I want to name my workflow as how to create GoToWebinar registrant on Zoho Forms submission. Zoho Forms to GoToWebinar, and then we just have to click on this create, and as soon as we're going to click on this create, it is opening the most important window of our automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. So trigger and actions are the two main principles on which our workflow will run. Alright, trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger, and that's the particular reason that we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of a trigger in a particular workflow. And to get started with our automation, we have to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm just going to select it as Zoho Forms. So I'm just going to search for Zoho Forms, and as you can see the same, so we're going to select it. And now it is asking me for the trigger event. So basically, trigger event is the event on which the workflow will start, all right? So what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Zoho Forms account, automatically this workflow should be triggered or started. So I'm just going to select my trigger event as new form submitted. And as soon as we're going to do so, it is giving me a webhook URL. So we're just going to use this same webhook URL in order to create a connection between our Zoho Forms account and our Pabbly Connect's workflow. So what we have to do is we first have to copy this webhook URL and then we have to follow this help text, all right? So it is saying log into your Zoho Forms account. Go to the existing form you want to integrate and click on edit. Visit integrations, webhooks and then configure webhooks. Enable the webhook status, copy the above webhook URL and paste it in the webhook URL field. Alright, we're going to follow the same. I'm just going to open my Zoho Forms account and over here you can see all the forms which I have already created. But today I want to create this automation for this form, which is registration form. So I'm just going to go towards the edit of the same form I want to create this automation for. We just have to hover on the form and you're going to get the edit option. And yes, you can see that we have successfully redirected to this. Alright, so now after coming over here, we have to connect this form with our Pabbly Connect's workflow. So I'm just going to open the forms once again. And now from here, we have to go towards this integrations tab. Alright. And after coming over here towards this integration tabs, we have to go towards the left side of the bar and look for webhooks. And as you can see over here is webhooks. So I'm just going to go towards this webhooks section. And now we have to enable this webhook status. So I'm just going to switch on this button right from here. And as soon as we're going to do so, yes, you can see over here, it is asking me to enter the webhook URL and select the content type. So over here, we are just going to paste the URL which we copied from our workflow. All right. And after pasting this webhook URL for the content type, I'm just going to select it as application/JSON, because as you can see that it has stated that select the content type as application/JSON. So yes, we're going to follow the same. I'm just going to select this as my content type and enter the webhook URL and select the authorization type as general. We're going to move on forward and click on this save button right over here to save these settings. And as soon as we're going to click on this save right over here, yes, you can see that we have successfully saved this. And now what has happened is that with this, we have successfully created a connection between our Zoho Forms account and our Pabbly Connect's workflow. But now it is saying waiting for a webhook response. And in the notes, it is saying do a test submission/record. So in order to capture this webhook response, we have to do a test submission or record. So what we have to do is I'm just going to open my Zoho Forms once again and we're going to click on this access form button right over here and do the test submission. Let's say that this time for the first name, I'm just going to keep it as demo, last name as user, email as demouser@pabblytudes.com and this as the phone number. And now I'm just going to submit this in order to register for the webinar. And yes, you can see that I've successfully submitted this. And now what has happened is that Zoho Forms has sent the details of a test submission to our workflow. So now I'm just going to open my workflow and check that if Pabbly has captured the response for the same. And yes, over here you can see that Pabbly Connect has captured the response for the same. You can see exactly the same first name which we entered, the last name, the phone and the email address which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step. And now what will happen is that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Zoho Forms, automatically this workflow is going to get triggered and Pabbly is going to capture the response for the same. Alright, we're going to move on forward towards our action step. What I want is, I want to create GoToWebinar Registrant on Zoho Forms submission. So for my action application, I'm just going to select it as GoToWebinar. So I'm just going to search for GoToWebinar right over here. And as you can see the same, so we're going to select it. And now for the action event, I'm just going to select it as Create Registrant and click on this Connect. And now it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your GoToWebinar account with your Pabbly Connect's workflow, then you can click on this select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me. Click on add a new connection and now it is asking me for the from time and the to time. And we're going to enter these details right over here. But you must be wondering how are we going to do this. So for that, you can see that there's a hyperlink. It is saying watch the tutorial here. And as soon as you're going to click on this hyperlink, you are going to be redirected to a video where you can find step-by-step guide to get the from and the to time. Alright. right? So you can watch it from here. Also, I'll just let you know how to get this, all right? So for the from time and to time, we're just going to open our GoToWebinar account first. So over here you can see that this is the event for which I want to create this automation, which is Pab integration. All right, so as you can see, the from time and to time of this webinar is given right over here, which is 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. All right, so yes, this is the from and the to time, and we have to enter this same from and to time right over here in order to connect our GoToWebinar account with this event. But over here you can notice that it is saying enter the from time in UTC format, and we're going to convert this IST format into UTC so that we can enter it right over here, because we have received this in IST format, which is 12:30 p.m. all right. So how are we going to convert this? For that, I'm just going to copy this example right from here and paste it right over here in the from time. All right, and now over here first we're just going to change the date. So as you can see, the date of the webinar is 21st of March 2025. So over here I'm just going to select the year as 2025. For the March, it is already March, so I'm just going to keep it as same. And now for the date, I'm just going to enter 21st. So now you can see that we have successfully entered the date as 21st of March 2025. And now we're going to move on towards the time, which is after this T section. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to open a new tab and we're going to search for IST to UTC converted. All right, so I'm just going to search for it right from here. And now as soon as you're going to search for it, you're going to get many links to do so. So you can open any one of these, and over here you have to enter your IST format time, and you're going to get the UTC format right from here. All right, so for the IST it is 12:30, right, which is the from time. So I'm just going to enter 12:30 right over here. I'm just going to look for 12:30 and then PM, and now I'm just going to click on this OK. And as you can see that 12:30 PM in IST is 7 in UTC. All right, so I'm just going to enter this 7 right over here instead of this 10. So I'm just going to enter 07 right over here. So as you can see that we have successfully entered the from time, and now we have to enter the to time. So you can see the webinar is of 1 hour, which is 12:30 to 1:30. All right, so the to time would be definitely 1 hour after this, which is 8. So I'm just going to copy this from time and paste it right over here. And now once again I'm just going to open this converter, and now instead of 12:30 I'm just going to keep it as 1:30. And yes, you can see in UTC it is 8. So I'm just going to erase this 7 and enter 8 over here. So yes, you can see that we have successfully entered the from time and to time. All right, so now after entering both of this, I'm just going to click on this connect with GoToWebinar button given right over here. And as soon as we are just going to click on this connect with GoToWebinar button right over here, yes, you can see authorization successful. With this, we have successfully connected our GoToWebinar account with our Pabbly Connects workflow. And as you can see that it has already selected my webinar right over here. So I'm just going to move on forward towards the first name. Over here, I'm just going to enter the first name which we have received in the response of our previous step, which is this demo. All right, so that we can create a new registrant with these details only. So over here, I'm just going to enter the first name, but we are not going to enter it manually or by copy pasting it like this, but instead we're going to map it. So you must be wondering, what is mapping? So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step, where we selected Zoho Forms as our trigger application. So we are just going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only. And as soon as we are going to map these details automatically, my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. Alright, so I'm just going to map this first name right from here, which is demo. Same we're going to do with the last name, map user, and same we're going to map the email address to right over here, which is demoUser@pabblytunes.com. So now after mapping all of these details which are required, we are going to move on forward. You can see that now it is asking me for many another details, but all of these details are not the required, so I'm just going to leave it as blank and map this phone number because I have the details of the phone number of my registrant. All right, so now after mapping all the details I wanted to, I'm just going to click on this save and send test request. If you wish, you can definitely fill out the rest of the details too. And yes, over here you can see that we have received a positive response that we have successfully created a new registrant in our GoToWebinar account with the same details. So I'm just going to open my GoToWebinar account and we're going to go towards this registrant section. All right, but first we're just going to refresh this right from here so that a new registrant gets added and we can see the details. All right, and as soon as we're going to refresh, yes, you can see the registered has turned into 3. So I'm just going to open this registrants right from here, and yes, you can see a new registration has been created. You can see the name, which is demo user. You can see the email address, exactly the same which we entered account, right? So yes, you can see that with this we have successfully completed our workflow and created a new registrant in our GoToWebinar account with the same details received from our Zoho Forms. So yes, now what will happen is that this workflow is going to run in backend and we don't have to come back and again to our workflow to click on save and send test request. Like I showed you in the real-time example, as soon as a new form submission is made in my Zoho Forms, within seconds in real time, a new registrant would be created in my GoToWebinar account automatically without any manual efforts. This workflow is going to run in backend. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching.
So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.